The cloud of uncertainty surrounding the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So uncertainty, this was littered all throughout the relationship. When you first met them, certainly when you were in the relationship, and post-relationship. Uncertainty is what the narcissist thrives on. They thrive on people doubting themselves, not being certain of what the narcissist is doing, where they are, who they're with, and why they're doing what they're doing. The cloud of uncertainty, it has always surrounded the narcissist. It always will. This is what the narcissist likes. It's an illusion. It's another version of a mask. It is a smoke screen. When you don't know what narcissism is, because you weren't taught this when you were younger, you have no idea that you were being abused. You didn't know you were being manipulated. You didn't know you were being toyed with, that you were being abused and used as the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the sounding board, the regulator, and so much more. Now that you're understanding this, or maybe now you've learned it, you realize that uncertainty is what the narcissist thrived on. Let's go back in time when you first met them. Well, in the very beginning, let's say that you were gym buddies, or you were friends in a club, or maybe it was a romantic relationship, or maybe it was your sibling or your parent, who knows? But you never knew if they were going to be on time. Think about that. The narcissist was always testing you, and time is a huge way they test you. So again, let's just say that it was a budding friendship or budding romantic relationship, and say you were supposed to pick somebody up at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. Well, maybe you would be there at 4:55 or 4:50 because you are punctual. You keep your word. You like certainty. You don't like uncertainty. You didn't want to have to wait for people, but you were giving that person a chance. And you were thinking, oh, they're just late, no big deal, so I'll wait. Next thing you know, it's 5:15. That rolls into 5:45. You just wasted an hour of your day, and now the narcissist comes out. And they're claiming they were stuck in a business meeting, or they forgot their key, or they had to finish a report, or something held them back. Now, in the very beginning of the relationship, you would give them passes because you were not trusting your instincts or your intuition. You were ignoring the red flags, and you were realizing, well, wow, they really probably have a lot going on, so I can be there for them, I can help them, and I can make sure they get a ride home. And well, that led to dinner. Next thing you know, let's fast forward, or maybe the same day, or maybe a week later, who knows? But let's say you went out to dinner with this person, and it was their turn to pay. What did they do? Well, they probably ordered half the menu and took 3 doggy bags home, or to-go bags, whatever you call them these days. And they probably ate whatever they wanted to. And then you're like, wow, you must be really hungry, or what's going on? Like, you're ordering so much food. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, no big deal. I mean, well, I paid last time, they're going to pay this time. That's the agreement. And lo and behold, what happens? You got it. They conveniently, intentionally, and deliberately forgot their wallet. Next thing you know, you're on the hook, and you just paid for food for them for the next 3 days. And they told you that they would get you back, or that times were tough right now, just give them a little bit of time and they'll reimburse you. Well, next thing you went out to have lunch with them or dinner with them. Maybe it was the next day, probably not, maybe a week or two, who knows. Now you were uncertain. Are they going to cover the bill? Are they going to have their fair share? Are they going to have the money that they owe me? Should I ask them? Should I not? What do I do? Well, you see, you were uncertain. This is how the narcissist thrives. This is how they get so many people that they can misdirect all over their life. This is how they have little groups of people, little bubbles of people, and they want to keep these little bubbles of people away from other groups of bubbles of people, because at any one time, one bubble could blow up. So there are 26 letters in the alphabet in the English language. So let's say the narcissist has 26 little bubbles of people. And one bubble could include one person. One bubble could include 5 people. One bubble could include 20, who knows? But whatever bubble blows up, they just have the other 25 letters of the alphabet to start manipulating and take from. This is why the narcissist is loyal to nobody. This is why they don't care about anybody but themselves. This is why they want the unpaid helper. They want the indentured servant. They want the person enabling them. They want the person who is believing in the mask, who is not trusting their instincts or intuition. And they want to leave a huge cloud of uncertainty when you were in the relationship, and certainly post, which I'll touch on in a few moments. But let's go back to when you were in it with them. Same thing. Let's say that you guys agreed, the two of you agreed, say you were roommates. And no romance, you're just roommates. And you agreed, okay, you're going to take out the trash, you're going to do the dishes, and the other person's going to pay for the internet, and they're going to pay for Netflix or whatever. And then you're going to park your car at this space, and you're going to use the washing machine or the dryer at this time. Well, you divided up the household responsibilities. Well, you kept your end of the bargain because that's what you do. Slowly over time, because this is a roommate narcissist now, what did they do? Well, they began to not do what they told you they would do. They began to actually take over the apartment or the flat, meaning they probably began to slowly take over the kitchen table, or maybe your bookshelves, or maybe the closet space, or maybe they left the whole apartment. Let's use the word apartment. That let's say they left their trash everywhere, and they didn't do the dishes, and they didn't buy detergent, and they were eating your food, and they were staying up late playing music at all hours of the day, morning and night. And when you were trying to go to work, they were perhaps asking you, can they borrow money from you, or what time are you going to come home because you have to be there because you have to do A, B, C. The narcissists tried their best, using this example, they tried their best to leave you uncertain, to leave you wanting to not go back to the apartment. And this is how these parasites live. They make your life so uncomfortable that your apartment, your house, your condo, where your ski chalet, wherever it is, you don't want to go back to it. There are so many times you do not want to open that front door. But let's go back to the roommate example. So the narcissist began crowding you out, and they weren't paying their bills, and they weren't doing their dishes. So let's say it's been a couple months, and now you're doing 3/4 of the work load that you're supposed to do 50%. They're supposed to do 50. Well, they let 25 fall by the wayside because they knew you would do it, and yes, they did. So you're now doing 75. They're doing 25. Well, now they realize that they have you trapped in that apartment because the lease, you still have another 12 months or 10 months to go on the lease, and they know that your name's on the lease, so is theirs. They also know that if they leave tomorrow, it doesn't matter because you're going to be on the hook for all the bills because it's your credit, and they don't even have credit. They're using your credit. And they also know that the longer they make your life uncomfortable, the more you will do what they want them to, the more you will do what they need you to do. So eventually, what happens, you go in the kitchen, and the dishes are piled up. There's not a clean cup in the house, and there's food everywhere, and the trash hasn't been taken out in a week and a half, and there's cockroaches or bugs or mold or something smells weird, and it's not just an old smelly shoe. Maybe it's a piece of pizza with ants crawling over it. Yeah, a little graphic, but this is what these people do. Not all of them, but enough of them. And then you knock in their room and say, hey, what's going on? I just came back from work, and you haven't been working in 3 weeks, and you're living off of me, and you haven't even had the time to clean the kitchen like you said you would. I thought we had this discussion. I thought that you were going to keep your end of the bargain. Well, what would the narcissist be doing? They would be looking at you, staring at you like you were from a different planet, maybe lifting one earphone off of the whatever they're listening to, Spotify or whatever, and say, yeah, I got it, no problem. What's the big deal? I'll get to it. Whatever. Just close the door on your way out, will you? And then you would be scratching your head as you did leave, saying, wait, at least I communicated with them. They did tell me they're going to do it, and now you're still in uncertainty. Are they going to do it? Are they not? Well, what probably happened is nothing was done until you did it. Then you realize that person was literally sucking the life force out of you, sucking your energy out of you, your time, your money, your emotions, your sleep, everything about you. They try to steal it from you. That is a very good illustration of the narcissistic roommate. It doesn't have to be the roommate. It could be anybody, but I'm just sharing with you that if you had a roommate with somebody, maybe in college, maybe that resonates with you. The one person who just never quite had enough money, but yet they were driving the fanciest car. Or the one person that didn't quite have enough money, but they always had money, someone else's money to go to the movies or to get certain kind of food or whatever. See, this is what these people do. They want to live off of other people. They want to live in people's minds rent-free. And they want that big cloud of uncertainty, not only to follow them, but they want to trap people in it. Think about the thumbnail of the video I'm creating right now. It is the cloud of uncertainty that surrounds the narcissist. In almost 5,000 videos I've created over almost 5 years, I've shared with you a term, and you should know it by now. It's called the narcissistic fog. What do you think the narcissistic fog is? For those of you who know, please drop comments below, but let's say for some of the people that they really don't know what that term means, what it means is it's essentially a huge cloud that you're trapped in. You can't see a way out. You don't know what is left, what is right, what is up, what is down. You can't get your bearings. Everything is bizarro world. What is in is out. What is black is white, etc. You have brain fog. You can't function properly. You're being controlled, manipulated. You're being punished. You're being financially abused, sleep deprived. Perhaps if you have kids, you're being counter-parented, not co-parenting. All these things happen, and the narcissist knew that that's where you are because they placed you there in the narcissistic fog. Now, along with the narcissistic fog goes the trauma bond. That is a very, very debilitating place to be. I was existing there, not living, existing there for quite a long period of time. And then also the third part of these 3 segments is the devaluation stage. That's the second part of the narcissistic abusive cycle. It's the longest part of it. It's the greatest length of it. That's when you're doing everything you're being told to do, and you're saying, thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, may I have another? And no good deed goes unpunished. No matter what you did, it would never be good enough because you were trying to fix an unfixable relationship from hell. And on top of that, the narcissist knew where they placed you, and they knew you were going nowhere because you were still starry-eyed, and you were still watching them and staring at them and studying, and you were still uncertain of what was going on. Notice the theme here? It's uncertainty. So think about this one. Let's go back in time again. When you met the narcissist, did you know what narcissism was? No, you didn't, because if you did, you would have run for the hills, and you would have said, lose my number ASAP. I'll find a healthy, stable person to enter a relationship with. But again, the narcissist had you doubting yourself, giving them the benefit of the doubt. You were uncertain of certain behaviors or mannerisms that you saw in the beginning on their behalf, but you gave them a pass. You said, well, I can still help them. I can elevate them. I can be the white knight in shining armor. I can be their hero. I can be the person who changes them and steers them and guides them and helps them get through school and helps them find a job and puts a roof over their head and pays their insurance and takes care of their kids and all these things. Well, you figured out eventually the more you gave, the more they wanted. The more they wanted, the less you had. The less you had, the more that they looked at you and stared at you and gave you that smirk and the side eye and they said, what good are you? You're not even doing anything. I can't even believe I stayed with you. Yeah, similar words were heard by me by toxicity. But having said that, you're in a lose-lose situation when you're in the narcissistic cycle and you don't know it. Now, when you know it, and that's when you develop, create, and get ready to execute your exit plan. Maybe that's you, maybe it's not. Maybe this is the first video you're consuming, you're realizing that's what you'll have to do. But when you don't know what toxicity is, specifically what was being done to you, and you don't know the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you don't know what gaslighting is, what triangulation is, what mirroring is, what projection is, what rage fits are, what verbal abuse, financial abuse, what ghosting is, and you don't know what the texting games of the narcissist are, the pining games of the narcissist, the hiding games, the uncertainty games. When you don't know any of those things, you're vulnerable, naive, and you're in a very, very challenging space. I was there. I can say it. But then again, when you don't know what you know now. So this was not your fault. You need to play that part of the video again. It was not your fault. You were hoodwinked, you were tricked, you were trapped, you were taken advantage of, you were uncertain. And that's where the narcissist thrives. They thrive in uncertainty. So I just gave you illustrations of the narcissistic roommate, about paying bills, about lunches, about, I'll finish this part up. When you met the narcissist, they were wearing a mask. They didn't tell you who they were. So you were uncertain of their past. You were uncertain of their story. You believed it, but you had no evidence. Think about it. Probably because the person they told you that they just ended the relationship with, or maybe they were the person who claimed that the other person ended it with them, that person may have never existed. They may still be stuck in the trauma bond, or that person may not even be living right now. 3 tough pills to swallow, but any of those could be true. But again, the narcissist wasn't authentic or genuine with you. They were trying to manipulate you and keep you uncertain about who they are, where they were, what they were doing, what their past was, and everything else. But flip it. What were you doing when you first met the narcissist after the relationship was, underway? Well, what you were doing is you were an open book. You were telling them all about you. You wanted to be certain that they understood you. You wanted to be certain about what you wanted out of life. You wanted to be certain if you wanted to get married, what religious organization you wanted to get married in, what home you wanted to buy, what town, how many kids you wanted, what job you wanted, if you wanted to buy the beach house, if you wanted to go here, there. You told them everything that you wanted to do. What did they do? They nodded their head, they agreed, and said, wow, this is almost too easy. That person, which was you, and yes, it was me, was an open book. They just told me everything that they want to do in the future. I will make sure I lock them down, maybe by a wedding or maybe getting married or whatever it was, and I will slowly, insidiously take everything away from them that they want. And they will be doubting themselves. They will be questioning themselves. They will be wondering all about what's going on. And as I'm devaluing them and abusing them and manipulating them, I will be stacking money. I'll be squirreling away other sources of supply. I'll be building for my future, and I'll be tearing this person down, which was me. Probably was you. See, this is why when you're in these relationships, there's only one person that these relationships benefit, and it's the parasite. Yes, the narcissist. The narcissist is a parasite looking for a host. You were the host, so was I. You didn't realize that a human being who had two legs and walked and talked like you could be your abuser, but yet you would be caught up in a zombie-like, trance-like state. Yes, the narcissistic fog, you get where I'm going, where you were uncertain. You didn't know where you were. You just knew that where you were wasn't where you wanted to be, and you were being treated less and less and less every single day. You were being respected less and less and less. You had less and less and less of a voice. Your mind was turning into putty. You couldn't get sleep. You couldn't function at work probably. Your health took a hit. Your finances were going straight from being deposited in your bank right out the window to whatever the narcissist wanted. You could never save a penny. You could never enjoy your hobbies or your food dishes or anything like that. You were doing what they wanted, when they wanted, and how they wanted you to do it. And again, it all went away once the discard took place. If you were discarded, you know what I'm talking about. Let's say that you ended it yourself and removed yourself. Any way you cut it, you were in the cycle, and now you're out or you're getting out. But when that ended, what happened? Play this part of the video, play it many times, because this is going to be extremely important for you to digest and process. When the relationship ended and you did not know what narcissism was, what did you do? Well, you probably were really, really reeling, meaning missing the narcissist, caught up in the trauma bond, wondering what had just happened, where they are, who they're with, what they're doing, why they're not answering your phone calls, why they're not texting you, why they're not available, and who in their right mind would do that to anybody on the planet, specifically you. This is exactly what I thought. Well, over time, for me it was about 3 weeks-ish, over time, you begin crying, you begin dropping to the ground in the fetal position with carnal screams, and you don't know what's going on. And yes, I'm beginning to share a little bit more of my real life experience on these videos. And you can't understand, you can't wrap your head around how somebody could literally crumble you up like a sheet of paper, throw you away on the freeway, and hope that you don't exist. That's what these people do. They never gave you closure. They never told you who they were. They didn't tell you what they did. They didn't tell you how little they cared about you. They never told you that they were jealous of you or envious of you and that they wanted to destroy you and your life. They told you none of that. What they did was leave you in a cloud of, say it with me, that's right, uncertainty. You did not know what kind of relationship you were just jettisoned from. You didn't know what kind of relationship existed on this planet that you were a part of. You didn't know that the apex predator, the toxic parasite, the narcissist existed, and you were in the trauma bond caught up in it with them. You didn't know any of these things because you were uncertain. So over time, and I'm talking really slow, deliberately, to let you know what's going on here and what part of this video we're in, over time, what did you do? You kept on researching. You wouldn't quit. You kept on looking things up and watching videos and journaling and meditating and doing everything you could to figure out what kind of relationship it was. And then something gave, something snapped, and something finally arrived. And it's called the light bulb moment of your lifetime. This is when you figured out what narcissism was. This is when you figured out, oh my God, these people exist. I was with one. How did I not know this? How did I stay in it this long? This person actually never loved me. This person never cared about me. This person wanted to destroy me. Well, that's just me barely beginning to scratch the surface of what these people do and capable of and how they think. But when you did that, then some of your uncertainty went away. Now, was that a pleasant experience? Absolutely not. One of the most challenging experiences ever post-relationship was when you finally figure out what kind of relationship you were in. It's, to this day, it still will challenge you to actually think how somebody could do what they did for such a long period of time, how little they care about anybody but themselves, and I mean anybody, and that you stayed in it. You did everything you could by the book because you were a kind, loving, stable, healthy person like you still are, but they took advantage of all of that and more. And then whenever they deemed that they had a better source of supply, or they took whatever from you they could, they discarded you, left you to wither away in the wind, hoping you would never exist. So then they would get the house, the mortgage, the car. They would have the perfect narrative that they lined up with the smear campaign and more, because that's what they had done before they met you. But That's not what happened with you. You figured it out. That's why you're cut from a different cloth. But when you finally figure it out, what happened and where they were this weekend, where they were that weekend, why your birthday was always blown up, why every time you jumped in an airplane they would be complaining because even if you were in first class it wasn't good enough, why they were humming all the time, why they had 3 smartphones, why they walked 30 feet in front of you, why they hung up on you intentionally over and over and over again, why they were training you, why they were tricking you, why they were trapping you, why they were grooming you, why they wanted you stuck in that zombie-like trance-like state, which is the narcissistic fog, why uncertainty always surrounded the narcissist and who they were communicating with, why you could be sitting right next to them and nothing felt lonelier in the entire world than sitting next to them when they were on one of their 3 smartphones, their tablet, their laptop, and they claimed they were watching some show with you, but they weren't. They were grooming new sources of supply and giving you a side eye and a smirk saying, you have no idea who I am. You have no idea what I'm doing to you. But I am destroying your life from the inside out, and I'm doing it right here sitting next to you. See, this is what they did. This is what they're doing right now. It's what they've always done. That's why the cloud of uncertainty surrounds the narcissist. Think about this. Think about all the people they surround themselves with. Not you, and not the people that you knew that you had in common, although you could say those people. I'm talking about fringe people, other low vibrational creatures, other low vibrational people that you would be scratching your head saying, why are you spending time with that person? I don't get it. Like, what's with that? That doesn't kind of go with our friend circle or our friend group. Why are you doing that? Well, it's because the narcissist was wearing a mask with you. They were blending into your life, trying to steal it, steal your identity, steal all your relationships, your hopes, dreams, everything about you out from underneath you. The real people that they want to spend time with are those low vibrational people that exist in the quagmire with them. That's who they really resonate with. That's who they can really laugh it up with. That's who they can really be themselves, which is rip off the mask and make fun of everybody, use curses and sit there and snicker and sneer and compare stories of how they blew up other people's lives. You may think that's not what they do. It is what they do. It's exactly what they do. The thing is, when the narcissist was with you, you elevated them. You took them to the best place they'll ever be, which is as high as you could possibly take them before they took everything out from underneath you and then they discarded you. But they always go back to that low vibrational state. They always go back to exist in that low vibrational state, and they know it. And I've known it for many years now, and either you've known it or you're learning it, but the cloud of uncertainty that surrounds the narcissist, this is one of their many masks. This is what they like. They like people not knowing where they are, what's going on, if they're coming, if they're not coming, if they're going to arrive, if they won't. Will they blow up the wedding? Will they not? Are they going to make Christmas dinner? Are they not? Are they going to create an intentional argument at somebody's wedding? I don't know. Are they going to gift somebody a brand new car and then expect them to be loyal to them for the next 5 years because they just bought that person? This is what the narcissist does. They weaponize anything they can. Their own kids, their siblings, money, time, your job, health. If the narcissist knew people around you, this is, let's say when you were with them, if they knew who your doctors were and they knew who your classmates were or your coworkers or your colleagues or the people that you used to exercise with or whatever, the more people they knew, the more opportunities they had to destroy you and blow up your life. Think about what I'm telling you. This is what they do. They infiltrate every orifice and every part of a person's life. I'm talking every single inch of a person's mind, their bloodstream, their energy, their everything about them. That's why you must, when you get the wisdom, you must go no contact. And you have to block that person, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? Now, if you can't do that, I get it, but you're going to have to cut the 4 ties. The emotional tie, the financial tie, the physical tie, and the spiritual tie. You will have to cut those. When you cut those, you will realize that that's one of the most challenging things you've ever had to do, but you had to do it. And when you did it, the clarity began to arrive in your mind. As the clarity arrived in your mind, the smoke lifted, the fog lifted, and your energy returned, and the certainty returned. So one more before I close the video. Many times people will think, well, I know all these things, but am I the narcissist? If you made it this far in the video, chances are you're not the narcissist. Number 2, if you're questioning yourself, you're not the narcissist. Number 3, if you understand what gaslighting, stonewalling, if you understand what those behaviors and mannerisms are, and they were done to you, and you didn't know what they were before they were done to you with the person you're considering or said person, It's all new for you. See, you were what I call the new supply. You were the shiny new toy, the shiny object. You were the person that they were using as Play-Doh or putty. They were trying to mold and groom and keep trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state. But now you have certainty. And now when the narcissist is gone, removed out of your life, you have nothing but abundance. You have the answers to the questions you were looking for. You have clarity. You have purpose. You have a small footprint. You're maintaining your boundaries. Your energy's returned. Your health is returned. Your time is all yours now. You can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. You can do whatever you want to do. The whole key here is get these people out of your life as fast and as soon as you possibly can, because they are shrouded, they are littered, and they are surrounded by uncertainty. And uncertainty is the cloak of abuse that the narcissist wears. The narcissist will never be transparent, honest, genuine, forthright, or upfront. They're not going to do it. They can't introspect, they can't be accountable, and they can never own up to their actions. All they want to do is continue to misdirect people, misinform people, misrepresent themselves and other people, and continue to keep the charade going as long as they possibly can. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Understand one thing before I close the video, because it's getting really cold and dark. The narcissist is surrounded. The cloud of uncertainty that surrounds the narcissist, it's always been there. It was there before you met them. It was certainly there when you were with them, and it's there now. Think about it. The narcissist is crawling all over social media. The narcissist has multiple smartphones. And no, not everyone on social media or multiple smartphones is the narcissist. I'm giving you two illustrations here. What do they want to do? They want to lure people into the ocean of abuse. They want to throw as many lines out there to see who will take a bite of the forbidden fruit, who will believe in the mask, who will try to win the next place in line to be abused by the narcissist. This is how the narcissist presents themselves. This is how they represent themselves, not as the abuser, but like, so many people want to be with me. So many people are always fawning all over me. So many people care about me. Everyone loves me. I can't believe that you're no different. Well, this is what they do. They're parasites. The uncertainty is gone. You are now certain of the relationship you're a part of, and you will never, and I mean never, be a part of again. So maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact, and continue to elevate and ascend. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. It's cold.